Now my time to spend my money.
Hi, I'm Geneva Greene. I'm currently a PhD student at Howard University.
Beautiful. And you had the opportunity of interviewing Mr. Moten today, is that correct?
I did. I
Okay.
had the pleasure of interviewing him today.
All right, so tell me a little bit, how did that go?
Yeah, I mean, I always think hearing Mo speak is so dynamic. He has so many amazing stories, and the way that he wraps things together when he talks about community and activism and connects the dots, to me, are so brilliant.
Right.
But he makes it so plain that it's like, okay, I can understand how the systems work. So from someone who understands them and fights them for equity every day,
Right.
with such passion.
Right.
And so I took that from his conversation, reading the book as well. There's so many gems laced in there. I just think it's a must read for anybody that really wants to see change in the community, wants to be an active, as he calls it, citizen in the community, not just a resident. To just learn the lessons, and I learned that from his conversation today. It just reinforced so much of what's in the book as well.
I've been documenting some of his movements here for the last 4 or 5 years, and I just recently sat down and interviewed him. But one thing he said to me that really resonated is that when you start, I've heard people label him a disruptor in that sense, but I know he's been doing this for a long time. Prior to Don't Mute DC, he was an activist with using the go-go music musicians to stand on the front line to fight for injustice. So Mo has definitely been champion in our community.
No, I got to all this because of Al Malik Farrakhan when I was at Ceasefire No Smoke, the Brothers and Sisters.
Yeah, I interviewed him.
And one of the reasons why I knew this was possible over here was because I remember when Marion Barry gave him the resources to buy his building. Currently on 14th and Crittenden Street, that whole 3-block commercial area,
right.
He's the only black person left that owns the property.
Wow.
And when I came up, every corner store, every store up there was owned by a black person.
Yes, yes.
So I understand what can be done is what people want to do.
My focus is on I'm in the Communications, Culture, and Media Studies department. My research focus is on arts and activism, and so having the conversation with Mo today was directly in line with my work.
Yeah.
As I focus on the Black diaspora and how we're connecting across the Americas and the Caribbean through the arts, and how we leverage those arts and find liberation and activism through it. And I think what Mo does with go-go music, how go-go is connected to the culture, and ultimately opportunities for economic empowerment and activism are directly tied with my research. And so I was quite honored to have the conversation with Mo and to get to know him better through his work.
Wow.
Been the suffer time to jolly. Oh no, cause if I no get that worry, I can see the bars ready to spend. Oh, I want to celebrate. Oh, I want to take a oh, I want to celebrate. Oh, I want to take a
What advice would you give to someone like me who's starting out in media and really want to shine the light? I want to change the narrative that we as black folks in the diaspora cannot work together. What kind of advice would you give? I know it's a loaded question.
No, it's not a loaded question. I think it's an excellent question, and I think what you're doing is a start. When you told me what your intent was, and just picking up the camera and picking up and creating opportunities to change the narratives and create the stories, you immediately reminded me of history and our ancestors and the black press,
right.
And the great legacy that they leave. I don't know how many are familiar with the Pittsburgh, it's so many, the Atlanta Daily World,
right.
So many of those newspapers that were so instrumental in making people aware of our stories, our experiences, our narratives, and allowing us to tell them instead of them being told for us.
Right, true indeed.
Right, and so there's a different perspective when someone who respects your humanity, respects who you are and what you bring to this world, helps to tell your story. So I commend and honor you for what you're trying to do. And I say for anyone trying to do that or with a goal of doing that, just do it. There's so many venues now to do that, especially with social media. Mo talks about a lot about using social media to your advantage instead of allowing it to use you.
Right, that's right.
Disadvantage us in our youth. So insert those stories. It's so important. And I mean, I think the reason I do the work that I do is to help people understand how connected we are as human beings and as Black people in our experiences, in our gifts, in our creations. We have, I remember my first trip outside of the United States was to Colombia, South America. And when I journeyed there, I had no idea that it was going to feel like being at home.
Right.
The beans and rice. My family's originally from South Carolina.
Nice.
And so I felt like, wow, I'm here and this feels so familiar to me, right? And why is that? It made me want to learn more.
Wow.
Right? And so I spent one of my minors, well, my minor in undergrad was Spanish. And so I always tried to find someone that looked like me in a Latin American country. And the more I learned and the more I dived into learning about that, we're so connected.
Yeah, we are.
And it's a beautiful experience to learn about those connections and to realize that it's just not about you where you sit today, but you're a part of something so much greater, a great history, a great community, so much power behind who we are and what we give to the world. And so educating through platforms like what you do is so important so that you understand how we're unified, how we're connected, and be empowered in the community and the place that and what we contribute to that community, the place that we hold within that community. And the power that it is.
Wow.
Mama,